I got a concern from the people of tourism. They want to be excluded from this stimulus package. They say they never got loan arrangements under the stimulus package. Their loans are normal.
That is correct, Chair.
So can we separate those who benefited from the stimulus package and those who received loans from the normal setup at UDP?
Noted, Chair.
Can we have a separate list?
Noted, Chair. I think the last one is on Akamwesi. I think what is the socioeconomic impact of this project?
Short and long term.
Like I said, we motivated for this project as a social infrastructure project in terms of improving the status or economics status of people that live that side. And in addition to that, the project...
their status, how? Is it a charity?
No.
How is it going to improve the status of the people living in that area?
Chair, can I speak about the socioeconomic impacts? So the project will create 55 new direct employment opportunities, and it will accommodate and offer premises for trading or business to 1,288 people. And these are people who will acquire space to do different things, including the market and shops. And the company is projected to contribute about 4 billion shillings in taxes to government of Uganda over the period of the project. So normally also when we get projects, we have a team monitoring and evaluation that tries to work out based on.
You see, the question here is, if Honorable Kasaija wants to start a shopping arcade in a location X in Ugaise and comes to you, will you finance his project?
Okay.
I want to start one in Apa.
Yes. Will
Can
you
I come
finance
and you finance, because there are many people there.
Yes.
And that supermarket or
That is
something.
the only issue.
Okay. Honorable members, one, this project...
yes or no? And then you give justification.
It depends. But, okay, we first start from no, and then you start coming down to look at...
You start from no.
Yeah, we start from, like I mentioned, the sector. So if you're a shopping mall, you start from... Okay, it's not like when someone comes and says manufacturing, okay? But, and now for this project, Honorable Minister, I think we had...
yes.
I think we are going to bother...
So that's good enough.
We are going to bother...
For Akamwesi...
You have started from no?
No. We are going to bother Patricia for a long time for nothing.
Yes. The honorable colleagues, why we asked the minister to come back, we wanted a specific meeting to provide facts. That's why I am constrained from beginning to blame a minister on information which I don't have. And it has not come to my attention that Patricia is under pressure from any source, from any angle to finance projects which are outside her eligibility criteria. But the point we have picked is, in special circumstances, for one reason or the other, someone may benefit from a UDB loan.
Chair, allow me to put it in context. It's just like, but let me first finish with Akamwesi and why we have it in the portfolio today.
Briefly.
We started engaging with Akamwesi in 2017. At that point, Honorable Minister, you recall in our portfolio, we used to do a bit of commercial buildings, but we had an annual general meeting where the Honorable Minister's shareholders guided that we should leave building, construction, real estate to Housing Finance Bank, because it's also a Housing Finance Bank. But for the Akamwesi project from 2017-18, it was already in the bank, and of course that project involves a lot of permits, clearances, getting a lot of things done, and that process was already ongoing. So it's an earlier project. That's why I said if you come today, it's we have to start from somewhere. But if you want to do a shopping mall, maybe in a patch and there is none before, maybe now those are the kind of considerations you may want to take exceptionally, because it's the first mall, it's not there. If you look at how it will improve on the general well-being and the economy around there, then you may take an exception to support it. So I thought I would add and clarify on that. And also, funding for Akamwesi project is not part of the stimulus that we got. In fact, the project is fully funded from the money that UDBL borrowed from Africa Development Bank, and we are paying back that funding. But of course, so I thought I would just add that the funding is not COVID. The project had started engagements with the bank from 2017, even though actual drawdown was actually 2 years later. I submit, Chair.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Chair, no, there is something that Patricia should notice.
Charles.
Can I hear when you borrow the
that's
money, or the money is direct from Ministry of Finance, you borrow it on behalf of the government of Uganda. That is all. You just don't go there as a UDB and without the government of Uganda and borrow the money. It is the government of Uganda that has set you up to do that and says you can also borrow and do business. So funding Akamwesi, if it was without the criteria, it was wrong. There is no question of saying where the money came from, Uganda government or borrowing. If funding Akamwesi went beyond the eligibility criteria with some influence, it's wrong. We shall find where the influence came from. Don't worry. You know we're just following instructions.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Bara.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to inquire a few things. I want just to know clearly now, why do we have the criteria for selecting different projects? Why do some projects, why are they being handled exceptionally? Why, and when it is now here, that you are creating a lot of stories. Because I know UDB has a clear criteria, even the minister repeated last week, and even now they are going to repeat it here, and it's in these documents here. So now, why are we playing with the criterion and at the same time the criteria? Because I'm sure there's a Akamwesi here. Somebody from Kabong, somebody from Nimule, somebody from Busia will have no benefit at all. And that's why, Mr. Chairman, I want to be helped. Why are we dealing with the criterions that are being used while judging specifically that this one should be handled like this, the other should be handled like this? Why? But this is UDB. The money is I don't believe. Not now. Mr. Chairman, the money is borrowed on behalf of the people of Uganda. And the people of Uganda are the ones who are going to pay. It is not going to be UDB committee in charge of assessments that is going to pay. It's the people of Uganda who are going to pay the tax.
Can we have Honorable?
I need clarification from the ED. Sorry, I'm taking you back to the table of utilization of the 455 billion. There's a table for approved 2020, 2021, and then disbursed. That one, the one of disbursed, I do understand that you stagger your loans. Not all that you approve, you disburse at once. But the totals seem not to rhyme. The 504, 888 something with, where does the 455 fit in? Is this 504 including interest? Something, it's not balancing.
Yes, Honorable
Okay.
Minister. Let's see.
I thought really that our purpose of coming back here was to account for the money borrowed and sent to UDB for COVID purposes. I think that was the question last time.
Yes.
I will come with my chief executive to answer
whether she applied that money with her team and the board, is the whole board, whether she applied that money to help business that was struggling as a result of COVID or not. I thought that's really the question that we should really be asking. If she doesn't have the information, she can send the information in writing.
No, the information she has provided, but most important to note is that this money was treated like any other
money.
Capital at UDB.
No.
Yes. This
The activities.
the MOU entered into between UDB and Ministry of Finance. Period. So can we have the next? Patricia, you can take leave of the room. Thank you so much. Let's have the next,
Patricia is
according to your list, Honorable
Patricia is Muteso.
Can you request from the minister that we...
Patricia, you are Muteso?
Chair.
Yes.
Honorable Chair, before you call,
In 1920 financial year, we made a provision of 481 billion for Bank of Uganda for the financial.
Atayafuna sente za COVID.
Lwaki zava
Za Akamwesi twaziwola from Uganda, from Africa Development Bank. Ne project ya Akamwesi yajja mu banka mu 2017. So between 2017 mpaka 2019 potasokero muwa sente yali atereza project okulaba nti ki etuukiriza ebisaanyizo. Kati sente ezo we had secured it some time back. So size sente za COVID. Sente za COVID nga bwe tunyonyodde, we are deploying it mu agriculture, agro-processing ne manufacturing. Ate twazifuna mu November. I mean mu August 2020.
Kijja kitya okuba nga alabikira ku lukalala olwafumirako mu mawulire nti stimulus package Akamwesi alabikira ku lukalala olumu lwafumirako mu mawulire nga luva wamu nti yafuna ku stimulus package.
Eyo listi teyali ntuufu. Yali listi yali erina projects zonna banka ze approvinga mu 2020 ne banka ze banka je disbursinga in 2020.
Sente za COVID mwazikwata mutya mwazigaba bugabinga sente endala zemufuna mu banka oba
Sente za COVID. Can I speak English?
Okay, you speak it in English.
Like I've explained before, the stimulus package has different components, okay? So one of the components was to support, to help the country ensure that we have enough or essential goods and services. For example, produce, manufacture locally what we used to import, as an example. Because the impact of COVID disrupted supply chains. You realize we could not import, we could not go out, we probably were not producing. So the funds were to support the economy recover in that regard. So that is why we are deploying it in those sectors that I've mentioned, which ensure that the country has enough goods and services, you know, essentials to go through the impacts of COVID. So that is the component of the stimulus package that we are managing, or that we managed.
How much did you receive
We
in that
received-
COVID period
We
as a stimulus
received,
package?
in August, we received 455 billion shillings. To date, we have disbursed 240 billion, but we have committed all the funds in terms of people have applied for their money and we have approved. So we are, of course, disbursement is a process, so we're in the process of disbursing the money to the actual businesses. The other thing we did to help businesses access this money easily or make it easier for them, we reduced the interest rate. We are pricing at 12%. We are giving them up to 3 years grace period, and they can pay over a long period of time, including 15 years.
Two questions from me.
Totalization is currently 970 billion shillings.
The second one, how much money did you lend to Akamwesi?
Akamwesi project, we lent it about 20 billion shillings, but that is just about 30% of the total project cost. So the other 70% was met by the client, and the client had to first put in his 70% before we put in our 30%. So usually we are an implementing agency for funding or for different funds from government. So when government borrows and they identify any implementing agency, you enter what you call a subsidiary agreement or an MOU, basically communicating to us how we should use the money. And that is the story of the MOU.
I think the MD raised it. Yes.
Same answer as I gave earlier on. Absolutely. You have answered it, said it. Whether the banks, we do not use them, it depends on the level of funding, because these, as you can see, their capital is not much. And if you have a project which is going into millions of dollars, I don't think they will be, Bank of Uganda would allow that they handle. I think those are the answer I can give.
So you mean there are thresholds
Oh,
for which?
Yes.
So does that mean that if a project or business falls within the threshold which these homegrown banks can manage, you strictly give it to them?
Oh yeah, if it was, if they, within their capital and the financial capability, we would give it to them, but we also want to make it some little competition.
Competition?
Yeah, yeah.
You compete with yourself?
We have to compete, yes, exactly.
But with the intention of
making sure that the institution you are dealing with is competent and is up to date.
So you mean, I thought the representation in the board is by you, since you own. So if you begin doubting competence,
no, we are not
of
saying
the bank,
yes,
which you have, which you wholly own, like housing finance, for example. If you begin doubting its capacity and competence to do a certain business, then where are we heading for the future?
You see, Mr. Chairman.
Because you would be the major client in these banks, to boost them, develop a muscle which they don't have.
Yes, but you see...
So if you decide to support foreign banks, for instance, they are all reporting profit. I am sure this profit remains here. 10 billion, one reported 10 billion, another one some amount, and all this profit 100% remains in our economy. But we have banks
I think they serve different clients.
who
Some of these are serving small,
who take away all their profit
others are serving medium, others are big.
to other countries where they come from. Have you ever thought about the benefit of supporting our own institutions? Preference should be given to our own institutions instead of
for sure
taking business elsewhere.
Mr. Chairman, for sure.
Yes, yes, Honorable.
Maybe he will come in later if he can take notes.
Finish my sentence?
Honorable Minister, if you can I give you a chance to finish your
Yes,
sentence?
let me finish my sentence. Then you can
And
read
then the
budget.
shadow minister takes you on a number of issues.
Some of these institutions, let's not forget why they were set up.
Yes.
They are set up to serve a certain category of people. Now, you cannot, for example, let me take there here. Now look at this is what one? This one is Pride. Pride, if you look at page 5 of their write-up, composition of borrowers by classification, micro, somebody who is wanting less than 1 million. Small, one wants to want a loan between 1 to 5 million. Medium, more than 5 million, between 5 and 10. Upscale, above those who are 10 million, and you can see the percentage. So before you can send a customer to a financial institution, you must also be very sure that the bank will handle, not that we are forgetting them, because we are still servicing them, We are still allowing them to grow. When they grow to a certain status, we can definitely deal with big business with them.
Why should you pass livelihood funds money? Why should you pass channel livelihood fund money to a foreign bank?
Do we do that? I'm not so sure. Which one, for example? Would you like, Mr. Chairman, to...
No, I don't want to mention the names because they are not related to us. For them, they can be protected.
Uganda government money?
Yes. Yes, information.
Yes.
But let's not mention the names of the banks here.
The what? N?
Agricultural Credit Facility. Honorable Jedra seems to be consulting, and the Undersecretary seems to have information. Honestly speaking, Youth Livelihood Fund, 1 million, these are the funds you give. 1 million, why should it pass through a foreign bank?
Does it
to get to the beneficiary?
Do we, our own government...
Honorable Chair,
yes.
Sometimes I wonder,
yes,
the Honorable Minister have a habit of pretending that he doesn't know what is happening.
No, it's not a question of pretending, it's a question of fact. Yes.
I know very clearly that the Honorable Minister is in charge of the ministry, and he knows the issue to do with money in this country. And the chairman restricted us not to mention the name of the banks. And even he is aware that they are sending money through the commercial banks, which are foreign. Our issue is, instead of sending this money to these foreign banks, why don't you make sure the housing finance, the post bank, the private finance are the one to manage this money that comes from the government? That's the issue we are raising to you.
Like privatization unit as a bank, as a account with stand charge.
Chair.
Yes, Jen?
Chair, I want to, mine goes to the minister.
Those which have got international relations. Maybe I can ask my colleague.
Okay.
No, Honorable Minister, first wait for this one.
Oh, I see.
They are all ministers, isn't it?
Chair, it's not bad practice.
Yes.
We need to investigate this.
Okay.
And then the second one is Post Bank said they deal with UDB. But UDB, I mean, Housing Finance did not make a mention. Somewhere, somehow, as if UDB said
yes, they said they have a relationship.
But you were quiet about it. You never said anything about it.
No.
You will answer. You will answer when the time comes. If it is.
Okay. Information. I was, at one point, I got some information that Housing Finance failed to meet the criteria of UDB.
Okay, you will answer that.
Can you please explain to us how the whole bank, if businesses and other Ugandans can meet the criteria, what is that you cannot meet with UDB to get that business that Post Bank is doing? You get at a lower rate than you do it at an expensive rate,
So, Chairman, I also still wanted to know whether Post Bank, I just don't want to assume that it's fully 100% owned by Ugandan government. Make it expressly clear that this bank is owned by.
Okay, can you do that?
The then finally,
finally,
to Housing Finance. Housing Finance at a certain time, you came. I think the minister came wanting money. It was capitalizing or something.
Charlie, so that one, they came, we passed it, and that was done and finished.
If the chairman has understood that I hadn't, he will explain it to me. Then
I don't know. I don't know whether there is interest among my officers. I don't know. For example, this money of UDB, the 400-something million, which we saw billion. Some of my staff were saying, no, this bank has no capacity to disburse this money. Can we on lend?
That's it.
So we put money in UDB, and then some other commercial bank comes and now get the land. And then they go and lend this money at 20%. I said, no, on my dead body. That money is still there. And as you have heard, I can't fault my MD. She's trying, and of course, every day I have been telling her this message. and she's doing the best she can with the board to ensure that that money is absorbed by not going to send the money to the commercial banks.
Thank you.
There has been a problem with that one, I must be very frank, because I've been handling it. Bank rates. Bank rates are normally set by supply and demand. It's like money is like a commodity, like anything else, like anything, coffee, whatnot. Now, I cannot control it myself. No, I cannot control it. You talked of a capping like Kenya. I'm not sure what that system is, because I was speaking to my counterpart in Kenya. I don't know whether it is operating very well. They are beginning to think. Because once you start setting as a state caps, somebody will come. For example, these other commercial banks, the foreign banks, they can come and say, who are you? It's like, for example, for me to stand here and say, Honorable Musasizi has got a shop somewhere in Kampala, sell the shirt which you import to sell it at this price. How? I can't do that.
Honorable Minister, I don't know how you picked that one. The issue we raised was, why should UDB lend it Post Bank?
UDB?
Yes, at 10%. At 10%.
Yeah.
And then Post Bank does on lending at 20%. Yes.
I think to me,
that is the issue. Why can't, and UDB is just lending to Post Bank government money, which Parliament has appropriated.
Correct.
Why don't you send the money directly to Post Bank or directly to Housing Finance so that they lend out at the same rate?
Yes.
So far we have cumulative, we have funded it over 30 billion.
Of Post Bank.
Yeah.
Post Bank.
Yeah, budgeted, yes.
Maybe let me ask, since the chief is here, why? I don't know why. If money, if you came and picked money from UDB at 10%, why should you go and lend it at 20%? Maybe let them answer.
Otherwise, the idea of capping, we entirely agree with you. That one does not work. It does not help the economy. But can we hear from Post Bank?
Thank you, Chairman.
Mr.
I
who?
think
What's
Julius
your name again?
Kaketo. That's a very good discussion on the table, and I think there are lessons to take. B has worked with us because of our wide distribution network. At times they cannot easily reach Amolata or Yumbe or Kagadi. These are areas where Post Bank can reach very easily. So I think that's why there's been that partnership. But on the issue of why should the money come to UDB and then us, maybe that is an area to consider for improvement, so that the money can come direct to Post Bank for onward lending.
No, but
that one is okay. That one is for the minister, but why the 20%?
Oh, the difference.
I know it is lunchtime, but I'm still chairing the meeting.
Yes, and we are not yet tired, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, but my colleagues on this side seems to be wanting.
Chair, what we wanted him to, he has dodged actually what we intend to achieve from him. We are saying 10% is the rate at which you lent the money. Then 20% is the rate at which you are what? Giving the people. We know, to the people now, finally, we actually know it's because of their spread that UDB prefers to what? To use them, like you said, a mortar, there's no UDB, whatever. So UDB said, since you're a sister company, you take it from us at 10, why don't they give it out at 13? Because here UDB gives out at 13, maybe 14, at 12. So they would give them something, some markup, for them to execute this thing. Why jump to 20 from 10?
Thank you. Chairman, may I take that? It is purely the cost of doing business. We have to pay salaries. We have to maintain technology infrastructure. We have to.
But I hope, Minister, have taken note. Let's
monitor the
not
activities.
take a lot of time on this.
That's why there is.
You should restrict UDB from doing that, because it defeats the intention. of government sending money to UDB. Cheap capital, much as we know that you don't control interest rates, but we know government has an obligation to make arrangements for consumer at 20%. No. Honorable Minister, that one is not acceptable.
Let me understand you. UDB does not reach the final customer at 20%. But it's here, do we charge 20%?
No, through Post Bank. This money gets to the final consumer at 20%.
Honorable Chair, I think the minister is not understanding what is on table. Even Post Bank has made it very clear that because UDB, sometimes they don't have branches down to the people. They reach the people through them. So whether it is Post Bank or Housing Finance or Pride Finance, reaching the local person with the money, it is UDB. Our issue is if they are lending it at 10%, again they give it, somebody gives to the local person, the business person at 20%. Why should that money go to that level? And we are questioning you. That means, why should we give the money to UDB to lend? Why don't we give it directly to Housing Finance, to Post Bank, so that it reaches the people at a cheaper interest rate?
At a cheaper price.
Yes.
I think that's a good
Chair.
point. But I'm also...
Can we conclude this? Have you responded to all the issues?
No, but
Let's give...
Mr. Chairman, I would like really Post Bank or whoever to answer. Why do you get money at 10% and you go and lend it at 20%?
Chair.
Yes. Can we get the responses?
Chair and honorable members, I have two questions. Number one is on UDB. How can Housing Finance Bank fail to meet the criteria? We actually fulfilled all conditions except one. Like I mentioned in my presentation, we sourced funds from other funders, the European Investment Bank, African Development Bank, and their concern, their objection was one clause where UDB wanted us to provide collateral for the monies, and other funders objected because said, if we can lend you money without collateral, how can a fellow government bank lend you money, ask for collateral? So that was a stalemate.
But can we know where where UDB was getting that money from?
This is the money for the stimulus package, the 455 that we've just been talking to about. It's that money that we wanted to source to support the export promotion, import substitution.
At what interest rate?
It was what we had agreed and had actually agreed with EDB is get it at 5 and on lend it at 12. Yes, we had capped it to the public, the understanding that it must we must reach out to the public at 12.
Okay,
so all that had been agreed, and except that clause which we haven't. The next issue, Chair, project funds. The memorandum of agreement we signed with government was for us to lend collections to the public, not civil servants. And we've been doing that since the time of starting the correction, the memorandum of understanding. We collect these monies and we lend to the public, and so far financed over 3,000 mortgages or houses to the public. And that's...
Next.